Do you feel like this is an attempt at a cover-up? I've never heard of a video being redacted before even the family could see it. Does that sound normal to you?
It doesn't at all, especially when it's the family. We're not talking about what's released to the public. Bishop Barber knows Eastern Carolina better than I would ever know. But the one thing that just was appalling to us was the fact that not only would you only show them 20 seconds, you redacted their faces, but you then release the warrant and all the criminal history of Andrew Brown to assassinate his character, but you will blur out the faces of those officers and not give their names. Well, we want to see their rap sheet since they are putting out the rap sheet of Andrew Brown. And finally, Joy, my 8-year-old daughter could understand that if you're only showing 20 seconds of a video, then you're hiding something. Because if Andrew Brown would have did something bad in there, we wouldn't need a judge to sign it. They would have that all over the news.
Absolutely. And Bishop Barber, tell us about this community, because this is a small town, I understand. This is not like a very big city. Tell us a little bit about this community and what the reactions are from the people that you're talking with.
Yeah, this is Elizabeth City, where Elizabeth City State University is. It's in Eastern North Carolina. There's a long history of police conduct in Eastern North Carolina, and people know it. They know the arrogance. This is where Jesse Helms and others had a stronghold. You should also add to your list George Donovan Lynch in Virginia Beach, the list of those you said had been killed since the trial. But this is Eastern North Carolina. And also we should be putting pressure on the DA. See, what the sheriff didn't say was that he didn't have to go to the SBI. The SBI actually said, no, you don't have to do that. They could have gone straight to the judge. The DA could have done that. It's been 120 hours. Think about this. And I was thinking about what Crump and other lawyer Daniels and Bakari, they were there. 120 hours have passed. They only got to see 20 seconds. 120 hours have passed. They only got to see 20 seconds. And that's why tomorrow, one local pastor has called for the North Carolina NAACP, repairs of the breach, the North Carolina Council of Churches, and the AME Zion Church. We're calling together pastors to declare there's a state of moral emergency. Now, they call it a state of emergency. No, the real emergency is this moral emergency, this judicial emergency. And this is not a matter of national security. That's when you redact. The national security is the killing of Black folk. And it doesn't matter to us whether the cause of Black or white. When you engage in violence toward people and shoot unarmed people and people fleeing away, and we think that there may have been a major rifles assault, like a SWAT team kind of going after this one young man with no history of violence. But what people should also know about Eastern North Carolina is people in North Carolina, they might be slow, but when we move, we take deep root and we stand. Some of the strongest work came out of Eastern North Carolina. So this fight will occur. The people will be nonviolent, but they will be vigilant. They will be vigilant. And we're going to get to the bottom of this in this county. This cannot stand. This young man, 7 children, 2 grown, 5 minors. He's a nephew, he's an uncle, he's a son, 42 years old, shot in the back. This is something that cannot stand, and it won't stand. And we must put pressure on the sheriff and the DA. Lastly, Joy, you should know, I talked to the Attorney General of the state, along with Dr. Spearman. You should know this. The DA right now, Brother Crump knows this as well, could call the state Attorney General, just like they did in Minnesota, and say, take this case. Now, in North Carolina, the local has to ask for it. The state can't take it from him. But the local DA could right now say, this is too messy. We've messed it up. Give it to the state AG, and they could handle this. All of that could be done in 20 seconds. The same amount of time they let the family see this tape after 120 hours. You know,
and Ben, that is a really good point. I mean, they've already, 3 deputies, from what I have here, have resigned already. 7 have been put on leave. That seemed to be awfully quick. I mean, Pascagoula County has only 55 sworn deputies. Out of those deputies, 10 of them have either resigned or gone on leave. I just want you to clear up something for us in the law. People keep talking about the fleeing felon rule. You said something today that I thought was very important to repeat. You said that the most dangerous thing, apparently, to police is a Black man running from them. Under the fleeing felon rule, police are not allowed to shoot somebody simply because they are fleeing, correct?
Absolutely. The United States Supreme Court has ruled that it is not against the law to flee from the police, and it should not be the death penalty just because you're black and you're running away. We never hear about them, Joy and Bishop Barber, shooting white men in the back. But them shooting black men in the back in America is almost like a cliche. I mean, Jacob Blake Jr. in Kenosha, Wisconsin, Walter Scott in South Carolina, Laquan McDonald in Chicago, Terrence Crutcher in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Christian Hall up in Pennsylvania. I mean, Anthony McClain in Pasadena, California, who literally ran out of his shoes and they shot him in the back. So we have to get this George Floyd Justice and Policing Act passed, and hopefully Bishop Barber, Eastern Carolina, can be added to the list of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Jacob Blake as reasons why we have to act now. We cannot hold this off.
And Bishop Barber, Merrick Garland, the Attorney General of the United States, has announced a pattern and practice investigation in Kentucky. Do you think that there needs to be one in North Carolina?
Yes, there needs to be. First of all, we need to pass the bill right now in the North Carolina in the North Carolina State Assembly that will open up body cams for public. That needs to be done. But we need accountability. The only way you get accountability is you have to have proper investigation. Then you have to have proper, when you find that someone has murdered someone, shot them in the back, if they're police, a warrant, a badge, and a gun is too much power for a bigot and someone trigger happy. There needs to be prosecution without immunity. There needs to be imprisonment, and there needs to be federal investigation of pattern and practice. It's been a long time overdue in Eastern North Carolina. This case needs to make it happen. And you're right, we need to get these things passed. We don't need cinema or Manchin blocking this. This is serious business. This is about people's lives. And we can see clearly, if you don't have the kind of federal law that standardizes this stuff, then you have one thing happening in one county, another thing happening in another county, depending on the sheriff, depending on the DA. No, we need accountability, transparency, and truth, and we need it now.
Absolutely. And I will add to that, just for my, Bakari Sellers said something, and he's very familiar with the media, to people in my profession. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Don't run with Andrew Brown Jr.'s history, because police do this. Rudy Giuliani used to do this when he was mayor of New York. Police would kill somebody. All of a sudden, their whole juvenile record comes out. Everything about them. Well, they're not a choir boy. Don't fall for that. This is not about this dead young black man's history. This is about him getting killed. Don't fall for that. We don't want to hear stories all about whatever he ever did wrong in his life. We need to know why he was shot and killed, whether he was shot in the back while he was driving away. That is the story. That's just my plea to those of us who are covering this story. Bishop.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.